President Trump is praising a former campaign advisor who is under scrutiny by the special counsel's Russia investigation. Roger Stone vowed this weekend he would not double-cross the White House if he is interviewed by Robert Mueller's team. Stone has been accused of communicating with WikiLeaks during the 2016 campaign. The Republican operative told ABC he has not been contacted by the special counsel.
I've never done anything in politics that was outside the norms of my colleagues and my contemporaries. And I've always made it clear that so-called dirty tricks come up to but do not cross the line into illegality. There's no circumstance under which I would testify against the president because I'd have to bear false witness against him. I'd have to make things up, and I'm not going to do that.
All right, Roger Stone has spoken. In a tweet Monday, the president praised Stone, saying it's nice to know that some people still have guts. He went on to attack the special counsel, calling Robert Mueller an out-of-control prosecutor. Joining me now is Colby Itkowitz. She is a political reporter at the Washington Post. Colby, good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, so why is the president's praise of Roger Stone so significant?
It's so significant because he did it at the exact same time, within minutes of also talking about Michael Cohen. And what he said about Michael Cohen is that Michael Cohen should serve a complete and full sentence. Now, you'll remember that Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's longtime lawyer, recently came out and admitted that he had lied to Congress about the last time the Trump organization had tried to build a building in Moscow. So what people are looking at now is, was that witness tampering? Is calling for someone who is testifying against you to go to jail and celebrating someone who won't testify against you when you're the president of the United States and you have pardon power? They're going to expect the Democrats to look into that.
All right, so Colby, this comes against the backdrop of President George H.W. Bush's passing. The president praised the former president this weekend and announced he would back a 2-week delay of a potential government shutdown out of respect. How will this delay impact the debate there in Congress?
Yeah, so the government was supposed to shut down at midnight on Friday. There are 7 appropriations bills that Congress just couldn't get to. This has kind of become par for the course in Congress, where we come right up to the brink. In 2013, we did shut down for 16 days. But President Trump is holding hostage the federal government essentially over his border wall. He wants $5 billion to build that wall. The Democrats say absolutely not. They put in $1.6 billion for some extra security enhancements at the border, but they say absolutely not for $5 billion for the wall. Now there's some Democrats even saying, why are we even giving $1.6 billion for border security? We should be giving nothing.
Yeah, and Colby, speaking of that, the president had been threatening to shut down as a way to promote funding for his border wall. Mexico's newly inaugurated foreign minister is set to visit Secretary of State Mike Pompeo this weekend in Washington. What can we expect from their meeting?
This meeting is going to be very interesting to watch because the thing they're going to be talking about is the caravan of migrants from Central America that have been moving their way up to the U.S. border that President Trump has been talking about all fall and creating a lot of fear and uncertainty around who these people are. Most of them are trying to seek asylum, their families. We saw that with the people that got tear gassed at the border, right outside of San Diego last week. So what you're going to hear Pompeo and the foreign minister talk about is, where should these people stay? Should Mexico keep them keep them in their towns at the border and not let them cross in mass as they want to? And so they're going to be hammering out those kinds of deals.
All right, so sticking with foreign policy, the G20 summit convened this weekend. There, the president agreed to new talks with China over the escalating trade wars. Where do we stand now?
So it's funny, we don't really know where we stand because the president and President Trump and the president of China are kind of saying different things. President Trump came out and said they're taking 90 days to kind of review the deal that they talked about in Argentina, that they're going to deal with China allegedly stealing intellectual property from the United States. But what we know is that they have at least paused the trade war that's going on, which means expected tariff increases that the United States was going to impose on China, they are not going to put in place for at least 90 days. But we don't yet know what the details of a deal will look like between the U.S. and China.
All right, Colby, I want to get to a final question for you. I want to ask you about your most recent reporting. You write that Republican-held state legislatures in 2 states are trying to limit new Democratic governors' powers. Where is this happening, and can you talk us through the allegations?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Wisconsin and Michigan, which were huge wins for Democrats in November. Those are states that Hillary Clinton lost, thought she would win, effectively cost her the presidency. Now the Democrats have come back and won governorships in both of those states, which makes them very, very excited for their prospects there in 2020. But so now you've got Democrats as governor, and you still have GOP-led legislatures. And so what these legislators are doing is they're trying to introduce legislation before the end of the year that would chip away at some of the executive powers that the governor enjoys, and as well as things like canceling or limiting early voting. They're trying to move up the presidential primary in order to not interfere with a Supreme Court, state Supreme Court election in April, because they are afraid that too many Democrats are going to come out to vote in the presidential primary. So they're playing a lot of games, and there's a lot of acrimony happening in both of those states right now.
Oh, talk about power there. All right, Colby Itkowitz, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right.